Oh! I just knocked the... I've got shellac. I wondered whether that was going to happen, actually, having the bottles at the end of the table. So it's time to get a bit sandy again. 1500. Gently does it. As before, I'm going to go around the rosette and try and get some of the yellow off. I will be putting clear shellac on this later, and the rosette can then be properly polished, but I don't like the yellow colour over the rosette, so I'm just going to really take the finish down on the rosette to try and keep the colour a little bit more consistent. Still some yellowing of the rosette. I'm wondering perhaps just to keep going until I've pretty much removed all the shellac. I really don't like the look of the yellow mother of pearl, and I've still got yellowing. I think I'm going to continue. I've got the guitar the other way around this time, with the neck over this way in my left hand, so that I can hold the guitar steady while I do the French polish. The other on the previous session I had everything the wrong way around, and it was awkward. I've sanded the rosette right down. There's virtually no shellac on this, and I think that's fine. I will continue to do this until I'm using clear shellac, which may be next coat, or it might be 2 more coats time. I don't yet know. Something I learnt last time, I'm going to have to move a lot quicker and not keep focusing on one spot, because what was happening on the back is I was getting little pools of shellac, and I think that's bad. So I'm going to try and do the whole back, the whole front in one go, although we'll have to keep recharging, because let's see how we go. That's immediately starting to drag. Wax on, wax off. I think my rubber is a fair bit wetter this time. Oh yeah. I'm not sure that's a particularly good idea when the shellac's this thick. because it does dry very quickly, and I am in danger of getting it pooling. Yeah, I'm getting it streaking. I sanded a bit too much up here. I think I was down to almost bare wood, and it's a good deal lighter, which is a shame. Right, it's now starting to really stick, so that might be it. Need to try and wipe some of the shellac off around the neck here. Oh. No, I think we'll leave it there. It's getting too sticky. I'm reusing the rubber because it seems to work a little bit better if you don't keep using a fresh rubber each time, because you don't have to absorb all of the shellac again. So what I'm doing is to store it, I'm just putting it in a jam jar. I'm putting a tiny little drop of alcohol in with it just to keep it moist. And that seems to keep quite well, certainly for a week anyway. Before I move on to the back and sides, I'm going to do another cut coat on the front, just to get the colour right. Now, you'll see here it's quite light. When I sanded this previously, I went a bit too heavy here. It's very slightly raised where the crack was, or is, and the crack repair is. But this has given me an idea. This time I'm going to sand it, but I'm going to finger sand it. And I'm just going to sand the darker bits and see if we can get the colour a little bit more consistent on this. Some of the streaks on here are down to the thickness of the shellac I'm applying, but some of the streaks are down to what we started in the first place. I didn't want to sand too much of the wood away, and so it was a little bit streaked to begin with, but maybe I can help correct that a little bit by just sanding back some of the darker areas and just trying to get it a little bit more uniform. Now, I believe it's customary when using dark shellac to first of all put light shellac on for the first few coats, just to get a nice flat finish, and then when you put the coloured shellac on, you get a much more even colour. I can't really do this here because I want the rosette to be clear. I want clear shellac on the rosette. So if the clear shellac went on first, I wouldn't be able to do that because I would have to keep sanding back the coloured shellac over the top of the rosette. It just wouldn't work. So I believe I'm right in having applied the coloured shellac first, but once we're a bit more happy with the colour and the consistency, then I will start applying layers of clear shellac, and I'll be able to apply it to the rosette without darkening the rosette. So I believe I'm right in doing it in this order. I just want to get the colour right and get it a little bit more consistent, and perhaps a shade darker than what we've got here. But I can't imagine putting more than maybe 2 more coats on this. I think I'll put some more coloured shellac on the back and sides, and I'll sand those down and apply the shellac in this session, I think. But probably don't want that much more coloured shellac on the back and sides. It's a good colour already. We were starting with shellac already on there, so I think I'm quite happy to go to clear shellac already on the back and sides really, but maybe just 1 more coat. So let's get it all sanded and let me see if we can get rid of some of these streaks. Now, somebody made the comment, and I'm not sure who, but soak your paper overnight. I've given this a few hours soaking and it is a lot softer, and I think that's probably better for finger sanding, so thanks for that suggestion. Shame it's curled up, but hey. So let's see how even we can get this. What's already apparent is I think with it soaked, it's a lot more gentle. I don't think this is taking nearly as much off as when I had it on a block and just soaked on the spot from dry. Right, I'll keep sanding for a little bit and hopefully not take too much of the finish off. So the question is, have I made a difference? And the thing is, I'm probably not going to know. I'm sure I've made a difference, but until I review the video, I'm not going to really know how much of a difference I've made. But that's about as much as I'm prepared to do at the moment. I'm going to put another layer on and then see how it looks. Onto the back and sides. There's a slight raised spot here, which I spotted reviewing some early video actually. I let a little bit of shellac build up at this point, but that's taken it off now. Yeah, it's gone. Well, nearly. Just going to switch to the sponge. Do that bit because it's dipping slightly. There's a slight scoop to the back, and a flat block doesn't get it. I've realised a mistake I've made here, where you can see I've taken the finish down a bit too thin, and I've taken some of the original finish away, and some of the wood's starting to show. The back isn't perfectly domed, it's curved, but there's a slight scoop at the edges. So with a rigid or cork lined sanding block, when it comes to the edge, it's resting just on the edge and up here, and not sanding this bit and putting too much pressure on the edges. So I've got to be careful in future sanding. I've got to keep to the middle, and then maybe either not bother sanding the edge, although I was getting some orange peel around the edges, or maybe just finger sand gently around, or use a sponge or some form of flexible block. But I've got to avoid a situation where I'm putting a rigid block over the edge, because that's what's happened. So I suspect I'm going to have to put another few layers of dark shellac on this just to bring that colour back. Yeah. I'm not too bothered about putting dark shellac on the back. I want to switch to light shellac on the front as soon as I can, really. But I guess I can keep applying dark shellac to the back, that won't be a problem. Just wanted to show you, I don't know whether you can see that, if I can get the light in the right way. Can you see the impression of the towel pressed into the side? I didn't leave long enough between coats, between doing the one side and the other side, so when I flipped the guitar over, the shellac was still soft, and it's pressed the pattern of the towel into the side. Oops. I do need to be very light with the sanding on this bit. Yeah, I think that's okay now. So I'll do one side first before moving on to the front. Same rubber as before. And that's already dragging. Maybe that's as much as I need to apply. Just going to get consistency. There's a little bit of streaking, but hopefully that will even out. I haven't been too clever with the finish right by the neck. I don't know whether you can see, but I have a little bead running along the edge. It's very difficult to get into tight corners. You need to create a very narrow rubber to do that. I'll correct that on the next coat and the sanding. Still quite light here. Might need another coat. This time I've given this a full hour and I've got the guitar resting on some paper rather than the towel, so no chance of imprinting a pattern into the side of the guitar, one would hope. Right, let's see if we can get this all in one go. Where am I going? Shall I start in the middle? Yeah, it's still not great at the neck, but it's better than the other side. Reminder that I'm using a £2 cut here, and I am going to have to switch to a £1 cut at some point. I think this is really a bit too thick. Although it goes on a lot quicker like this. You can build up a lot faster. Oh! I just knocked the... I've got shellac. I wondered whether that was going to happen, actually having the bottles at the end of the table. Yeah, it's a good job you can't see this. It's not too bad. Because it's so thick, it didn't really go anywhere. And I had a block of wood on the floor which has caught the only drip. Easy to clean up. Comedy of errors. Right, well that's one lesson learned, is to not put your jar of shellac right at the end of the of where you're sweeping. And you know what I've just done? I've just got two little bits of... Oh, I shouldn't have put that block in front of the camera. Oh, there you go, they've gone. Oh, however, I've got a spot of shellac just there. I wonder if this is going to go well. Yeah, that's okay. That could have gone better, but I think we're okay. Just a little bit messy. Don't know whether it's wrong to do this, but I'm just going to try and just get a bit of extra build up on the edge here, where I sanded a little bit too much. Of course, the danger is this is gonna it's gonna take a while to dry, so I'll check back later to see whether it's sticky. Okay, that will do for now. And we'll see you later. Bye.